Hello again, so happy you could be with us today. We're reading from the Complete Jewish Bible, which is a translation of the Hebrew Bible, and Deuteronomy chapter 6, 4 through 9. Shema. Hear, Israel, Adonai our God, Adonai is one, and you are to love Adonai your God with all your heart, all your being, and all your resources. These words which I am ordering you today are to be on your heart, and you're to teach them carefully to your children. You're to talk about them when you sit at home, when you're traveling on the road, when you lie down, and when you get up. Tie them on your hand as a sign. Put them at the front of a headband around your forehead, and write them on the doorframes of your house and on your gates. Matthew chapter 6, verses 9 through 14. Our Father in heaven, may your name be kept holy. May your kingdom come. Your will be done on earth as in heaven. Give us the food we need today. Forgive us what we have done wrong, as we too have forgiven those who have wronged us. And do not lead us into hard testing, but keep us safe from the evil one. For kingship, power, and glory are yours forever. Amen. Genesis chapter 16. They traveled on from Elim, and the whole community of the people of Israel arrived at the Sin desert between Elim and Sinai on the 15th day of the second month after leaving the land of Egypt. There in the desert, the whole community of the people of Israel grumbled against Moshe and Aaron. The people of Israel said to them, "We wish Adonai had used his own hand to kill us off in Egypt. There we used to sit around the pots with the meat boiling, and we had as much food as we wanted. But you've taken us out into this desert to let this whole assembly starve to death." Adonai said to Moshe, "Here, I will cause bread to rain down from heaven for you. The people are to go out and gather a day's ration every day. By this, I will test whether they observe my Torah or not. On the sixth day, when they prepare what they have brought in, it will turn out to be twice as much as they gather on the other days." Moshe and Aaron said to all the people of Israel, "This evening you will realize that it has been Adonai who brought you out of Egypt, and in the morning you will see Adonai's glory. For he has listened to your grumblings against Adonai. What are we that you should grumble against us?" Moshe added, "What I have said will happen when Adonai gives you meat to eat this evening and your fill of bread tomorrow morning. Adonai has listened to your complaints and grumblings against him. What are we? Your grumblings are not against us, but against Adonai." Moshe said to Aaron, "Say to the whole community of Israel, 'Come close into the presence of Adonai, for he has heard your grumblings.'" As Adonai spoke to the whole community of the people of Israel, they looked toward the desert, and there before them the glory of Adonai appeared in the cloud. And Adonai said to Moshe, "I have heard the grumblings of the people of Israel. Say to them, at dusk you will be eating meat, and in the morning you will have your fill of bread. Then you'll realize that I am Adonai your God." That evening quails came up and covered the camp, while in the morning there was a layer of dew all around the camp. When the dew had evaporated, there on the surface of the desert was a fine, flaky substance, as fine as frost on the ground. When the people of Israel saw it, they asked each other, "Manu, what is it?" Because they didn't know what it was. Moshe answered them, "It is the bread which Adonai has given you to eat. Here is what Adonai has ordered. Each man is to gather according to his appetite. Each is to take an omer, which is 2 quarts per person, for everyone in his tent." The people of Israel did this. Some gathered more, some gathered less, but when they put it in an omer measure, whoever had gathered much had no excess, and whoever had gathered little had no shortage. Nevertheless, each person had gathered according to his appetite. Moshe told them, "No one is to leave any of it till morning." But they didn't pay attention to Moshe, and some kept the leftovers until morning. It bred worms and rotted, which made Moshe angry at them. So they gathered it morning after morning, each person according to his appetite. But as the sun grew hot, it melted, On the sixth day, they gathered twice as much bread, 2 omers per person. And all the community leaders came and reported to Moshe. He told them, "This is what Adonai has said. Tomorrow is a holy Shabbat for Adonai. Bake what you want to bake, boil what you want to boil, and whatever is left over, set aside and keep it for the morning." They set it aside till morning, and as Moshe had ordered, and it didn't rot or have worms. Moshe said, "Today eat that, because today is Shabbat for Adonai. Today you won't find it in the field. Gather it 6 days, but the 7th day is Shabbat. On that day there won't be any. However, on the 7th day some of the people went out to gather and found none. Adonai said to Moshe, "How long will you refuse to observe my mitzvahs and teachings? Look, Adonai has given you the Shabbat. This is why he is providing bread for 2 days on the 6th day. Each of you stay where you are. No one is to leave his place on the 7th day." So the people rested on the 7th day. The people called the food manna. It was like coriander seed, white, and it tasted like honey cakes. Moshe said, "Here is what Adonai has ordered. Let 2 quarts of manna be kept through all your generations, so that they will be able to see the bread which I fed you in the desert when I brought you out of Egypt." Moshe and Aaron take a jar, put in it 2 quarts of manna, and set it aside before Adonai to be kept through all your generations. Just as Adonai ordered Moshe, Aaron set it aside before the testimony to be kept. The people of Israel ate manna for 40 years until they came to an inhabited land. They ate manna until they arrived at the borders of the land of Canaan. An omer is 1/10 of an ephah, which is a bushel, dry measure. Joshua chapter 16. The border of the territory chosen by Lot for the descendants of Joseph began from the Jordan at Jericho, at the spring of Jericho on the east, went up from Jericho through the hills and desert to Beit El, went out from Beit El to Luz, passed on to the border with the Arki to Adarat, went down westward to the border with the Japhleti to the border of Lower Beit Horon, to Gezer and ending at the sea. So the descendants of Joseph, Manasseh, and Ephraim took the inheritance. The border of the descendants of Ephraim, according to their families, was as follows. The eastern border of their inheritance began at Atrat Adar and went to Upper Beit Horon. Then the border extended westward with Mekham Tat on the north. Next, the border turned eastward to Ta'anat Shiloh and passed by it to the east of Janukah. Then it went down from Janukah to Adarat, went to Na'arah, extended to Jericho, and ended at the Jordan. From Tappuach, the border went westward to Vadi Kana and ended at the sea. This is the inheritance of the tribes of the descendants of Ephraim according to their families, together with the cities set aside for the descendants of Ephraim inside the territory to be inherited by the descendants of Manasseh, all the cities with their villages. They did not drive out the Canaanites living in Gezer. So the Canaanites live together with Ephraim to this day, having become slaves to the heavy work. Psalms chapter 16 by David. Protect me, God, for you are my refuge. I said to Adonai, you are my Lord. I have nothing good outside of you. The holy people in the land are the ones who are worthy of honor. All my pleasure is in them. Those who run after another god multiply their sorrows. To such gods I will not offer drink offerings of blood or take their names on my lips. Adonai, my assigned portion, my cup, you safeguard my share. Pleasant places were measured out for me. I am content with my heritage. I bless Adonai, my counselor, at night. My innermost being instructs me. I always set Adonai before me. With him at my right hand, I can never be moved. So my heart is glad. My glory rejoices, and my body too rests in safety. For you will not abandon me to Sheol. You will not let your faithful one see the abyss. You make me know the path of life. In your presence is unbounded joy. In your right hand, eternal delights. Matthew chapter 16. Then some Perishim and Suddakim came to trap Joshua by asking him to show them a miraculous sign from heaven. But his response was, when it is evening, you say fair weather ahead because the sky is red. And in the morning you say storm today because the sky is red and overcast. You know how to read the appearance of the sky, but you can't read the signs of the times. A wicked and adulterous generation is asking for a sign. It will certainly not be given a sign, except the sign of Jonah. With that, he left them and went off. The Talmudim, in crossing to the other side of the lake, had forgotten to bring any bread. So when Joshua said to them, watch out, guard yourselves against the Hamites of the Perishim and the Suddakim, they thought he said it because they hadn't brought bread. But Joshua, aware of this, said, such little trust you have. Why are you talking with each other about not having bread? Don't you understand yet? Don't you remember the 5 loaves of the 5,000 and how many baskets you filled? Or the 7 loaves of the 4,000 and how many baskets you filled? How can you possibly think I was talking to you about bread? Guard yourselves from the Hamites of the Perishim and Suddakim. Then they understood. They were to guard themselves not from yeast for bread, but from the teaching of the Perishim and Suddakim. When Joshua came into the territory around Caesarea Philippi, he asked his Talmudim, who are people saying the Son of Man is? They said, well, some say Johanan the Immerser, John the Baptist, others Elijah, still others say Jeremiah, or one of the prophets. But you, he said to them, what do you say I am? Shimon Kepha answered, you are the Messiah, the Son of the living God. Shimon bar Jochanan, Joshua said to him, how blessed are you, for no human being revealed this to you. No, it was my Father in heaven. I also tell you this, you are Kepha, which means rock, and on this rock I will build my community, and the gates of Sheol will not overcome it. I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven. Whatever you prohibit on earth will be prohibited in heaven, and whatever you permit on earth will be permitted in heaven. Then he warned the Talmudim not to tell anyone that he was the Messiah. From that time, Joshua began making it clear to his Talmudim that he had to go to Jerusalem and endure much suffering at the hands of the elders, the head Kohanim, and the Torah teachers, and that he had to be put to death, but that on the 3rd day he had to be raised to life. Kepha took him aside and began rebuking him. Heaven, be merciful. Lord, by no means will this happen to you. But Joshua turned his back on Kepha, saying, get behind me, Satan. You are an obstacle in my path, because your thinking is from a human perspective, not from God's perspective. Then Joshua told his Talmudim, if anyone wants to come after me, let him say no to himself. Take up his execution stake and keep following me. For whoever wants to save his own life will destroy it, but whoever destroys his life for my sake will find it. What good will it do someone if he gains the whole world but forfeits his life? Or what can a person give in exchange for his life? For the Son of Man will come in his Father's glory with his angels, and then he will repay everyone according to his conduct. Yes, I tell you that there are some people standing here who will not experience death until they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom. Numbers chapter 6, verses 24 through 26. May the Lord Adonai bless you and keep you. May Adonai make his face shine on you and show you his favor. And may Adonai lift his face toward you and give you his shalom. Thank you so much again for joining us, and I hope to see you again soon. Shabbat Shalom.